So I am recording a video today. This is the hayom, the day of the day, written by the 6th Lubavitcher Rebbe on what his father's teachings were, the Rebbe Rashab. And this was from August 27 on 2023. It was a Sunday, the 10th of Elul. So we actually passed this 10th of Elul this year already. And so this is, again, the frierdiker Rebbe, the 6th Lubavitcher Rebbe of the 7. And this, he wrote about what his, teachings from his father and other things from, primarily from his father, the 5th Lubavitcher Rebbe. So the vintage Hasidim of the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe, the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, who, he was the founder of Chabad. He was like the disciple of the founder of Hasidus, the Hasidic movement, which was the Baal Shem Tov. So he was like a spiritual grandfather, kind of like his spiritual father was his teacher, the Maggid of Mizrich, and his spiritual father was the Baal Shem Tov. They were each the successor, and then the Alter Rebbe started Chabad. So Chassidus has to do with like expansion, loving kindness, and in a work, like as a service. And the Chabad idea is about mind over matter, mindfulness, and having a strong mentality, a strong like crown of thinking. Literally wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So the Alter Rebbe, the vintage Chassidim of the Alter Rebbe, would offer 3 interpretations from the word yechidus. Yechidus was like a meeting with your Rebbe. The Rebbe was a very important idea of Chabad. It's like a guru. Lahavdil, lahavdil means to separate the ideas, and yechidus was like a oneness. Yechid means one. It's like you would think a husband and wife become one, a teacher and student become one, a parent and a child become one. And so 1 is clarifying, 2 is designating, which is one's principles, and 3 is bonding with the Rebbe. So yechid also means like singular, like a yachid, a singular, or miyuchad means like a special, designated one. So you could see there's different ways of translating it, because Hebrew doesn't exactly have fully translation to English, but here they're finding 3 meanings. So the sources for these 3 interpretations are found in 3 statements of the sages. The first one is in Shekalim 6:2. A Kohen, a priest, was going about his duties and noticed a certain flagstone that was different from the others, and being slightly raised, indicating it had been removed and returned to its place. The priest understood that this was the opening to an underground tunnel where the ark was concealed, which he came and said to his fellow. He noticed the deviation on the floor, but he didn't manage to conclude relating the incident before his soul left him. So he literally passed away, he died. Following this event, they knew with certainty that the ark was sequestered there and that God had prevented the priest from revealing its location. So that's like biyachad, he knew for certain. Biyachad, he knew for certain. Biyadua, biyachid. I forget exactly how it's written. So, and I want to say that the ark was concealed so that it wouldn't be taken and used for the wrong things. And basically it wasn't trusted anymore, that people could handle it and give the proper respect and not, degrade it in any way. The second is from Yevamos 62a. Mankind was initially created male and female, because otherwise reproduction wouldn't have been possible. So however, this fact cannot serve as a source that the mitzvah to be fruitful and multiply is fulfilled only once one has a daughter. The Gemara asks, and Beit Hillel, the house of Hillel, in the time of the Gemara, time of the Talmud, there was, a house meant like this, the school of that sage, and that was Hillel. So the house of Hillel could say to you, Moses acted based on his own perception when he separated from his wife, but this doesn't mean that a man is permitted to neglect the mitzvah of being fruitful and multiplying after fathering 2 males, as is taught in a bereishis, which is like in an accompaniment section. Moshe did 3 things based on his own perception, and his perception agreed with the perception of the omnipresent, in other words, Hashem. He separated from his wife, he broke the tablets, and he added 1 day to the days of separation before the revelation at Sinai. When Moshe separated from his wife after the revelation, oh, they're talking. When Moshe separated from his wife after the revelation at Sinai, what did he interpret that led him to do so? He said, if in the case of Israel, with whom the divine presence spoke only temporarily and for whom God set a specific time for revelation, the Torah stated, don't approach a woman, Exodus Shemos 19:15. I, Moshe, who am set aside for divine speech all the time, Shemi Yuchad, for whom God, Shemi Yuchad in Hebrew, for whom God didn't set a specific time, all the more so I must separate from my wife. And his perception agreed with the perception of the omnipresent, as it is stated after the revelation of Sinai, go say to them, return to your tents, and you stand here with me. That's from Deuteronomy 5:26-27. This indicates that whereas others could return to their homes and normal married life after the revelation at Sinai, Moshe was to stay with God and not return to his wife. The third source is bereishis Rabba 20, verse 7. And in bereishis chapter 3, verse 16, it says, and to your husband you shall desire. And here are 4 desires, but no desires of a woman for her husband. It says, there are 4 desires, but no desire as of a woman for her husband, as it said, and desire your husband. That's in the beginning. Like, basically the way the world was created, it's based, you could say there's a foundation to the world based on its initial creation. So there's no desire of the evil inclination except for Cain and his friends, as it said in Genesis 4:7, and to you is his desire. There's no longing for rains for the earth, except for the earth, as it said in Psalms 9:10, the earth has commanded and longed. And there is no longing from Hashem except for the Jewish people, as it says in Song of Songs 7:11, and his desire is upon me. Commentaries say the meaning can be that we are weak, and even though we are weak, we all hope for the salvation of the Holy One, blessed be He, and we unify umiyuchadim, Hashem's name. Additional commentary on, for your husband you'll desire, that at the time a woman's on the birthing stool, she says, I won't be with my husband and have marital relations ever again because of how terrible it is to be in the labor. And Hashem tells them, you will desire and you'll return to your husband. Rabbi Berachta and Rabbi Shimon, in the name of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, said that because she said it weakly, not really meaning it, not firm, her sacrifice is the 2 pigeons after giving birth, is a weak one, not a strong, not a firm one, like in terms of how sacrifices go. In bereishis 3:16 in Genesis, it says, and your husband will rule over you. Implied is that yechidus, the oneness. Oh, and sorry, so it also says in bereishis that your husband will rule over you. So basically, she'll still desire him even after she has to go through that. So implied is that yechidus, this whole experience of oneness, bonding, clarifies one's spiritual situation. 2, designates the pattern of one's divine service in turning away from evil and fostering positive character traits. And 3, it bonds a chassid to his rebbe in perfect union, enabling him to devote himself and all his personal desires to the rebbe. Now we look at it as like the rebbe will literally enlighten you. Your flame will become lit. You'll get all this extra energy and bounty in life. And sometimes I think of it as like this spiral of ascension. It's like somebody takes you under their wings, under their umbrella, and you get protection just from being in their like domain. So there's, each person has their own individual relationship with the rebbe. And now I want to share another thing from Rabbi Yosef of Galilee. You'd think that he can rule over, like this is continuing basically about the husband and the wife. So Rabbi Yosef of Galilee says you think he can rule any way he wants over her, even use her as collateral, like to give her away for money, or to use her as like to promise he'll pay back, or even hurt her. But it says, this is basically to clarify the previous comment about how, your husband will rule over you. But it says, and do not take a collateral of an upper or lower millstone. And in Devarim 24, Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 6. Plus, this is how this law comes right after the pasuk on enjoying and pleasing and giving happiness to his wife, especially in the first year. The Talmud says a story: a Tiverian woman was married to a difficult man, and her cries were heard from her husband, making her unhappy. The wise men came to rebuke him, but she brought out to show them a golden lamp and put an earthenware candlestick on top to show that she still wanted to be with him and was fulfilling her desire and was fulfilling, desiring her husband and him ruling over her, as if she was this golden lamp and she let the earthenware candlestick be on top of her. So that was her way of following the Torah, she felt. But as was just clarified, it's not necessary to in any way ever be mistreated by a husband. To desire him doesn't mean that he hurts you or ever makes you like out into an object that could be used as collateral.